Hey everyone! Welcome back to my channel. In this episode, we're diving into the tale of a young woman and her remarkable adventures in a game that's truly one of a kind. If you're familiar with the series Squid Game, I'm guessing you are. This is essentially the JAV adaptation. If you're keen to discover some details that might have slipped past you or just want a brief recap, now's your chance. From surprising twists to shocking moments, we'll analyze it all. So grab a snack, relax, and let's jump right in. One day, Haku reached out to his girlfriend, inviting her to his home because he had a significant announcement to share. When she arrived, she sat next to him, unaware of what her boyfriend was about to reveal. Haku unexpectedly decided to end their relationship after learning that he was suffering from a serious illness, and that the treatment costs were beyond his financial means. Waka was devastated and questioned everything she had believed about Haku and their relationship, yet she remained determined to support him. Waka, struggling to make ends meet and emotionally shattered, is approached by a sleek, well-dressed man with eyes that seem to promise something. He presents her with an invitation to participate in a special game with a 100 million yen prize. In dire straits and seeing no alternative to her predicament, she hesitantly consents. She is prepared to do anything for the sake of her cherished Haku. Waka finds herself in a remote, foreboding place, likely an abandoned factory or warehouse. Dressed in her green tracksuit, marked with the number 8, she feels a growing sense of dread. Her disorientation battled with an increasing sense of fear as she surveyed the area. The faces of the other participants began to come into view, each one striking her like a new wave of disbelief. Among them were both familiar and unfamiliar faces, like Nakata, her former boss, who was dismissed for a harassment issue. Her ex-boyfriend Shinji was present as well, heightening her discomfort. Not far from where she sits was her close friend, Mizuki. She wondered to herself, why are they all here? Do they share the same reason and objective? This only deepened her feelings of mistrust and anxiety. Before she could fully comprehend what was happening, silence enveloped the room. Individuals clad in crimson jumpsuits, their faces concealed by masks, entered, wielding weapons. Panic stabbed through the haze in Waka's mind and those around her. Then, he emerged. A man dressed in black, his features hidden behind a mask, spoke with a voice altered by a modulator, the game master. He outlined the harsh rules of the game: comply, compete, or suffer dire consequences, his tone laced with threat. 4 stages. 8 competitors. 100 million yen for the victor. Elimination meant punishment. The menace lingered heavily in the atmosphere. Waka needed that 100 million yen for Haku's treatment. She hoped for a miracle. Following this, they proceeded to the game venue, with the contestants trailing behind them, filled with fear and uncertainty. For the first stage of the game, it involved a hot dog eating competition. The rules were straightforward: the woman consumed the hot dogs handed to her by her partner. The first man to present a hot dog with cheese and the last woman to get a hot dog with cheese were disqualified. Some participants, like number 5, showed reluctance and considered leaving. However, she was captured and faced consequences for her defiance. They were warned by a figure in a black mask that anyone who resisted the game would meet the same fate. After that, the 8 players were split into 4 pairs of men and women, matched as 6-8, 2-3, 7-1, and 4-5. Waka found herself paired with Nakata, her unpleasant former boss. Driven by intense anger, she directed all her energy towards consuming the hot dogs, nearly swallowing them whole. The memory of his leering gaze, his unwanted advances, propelled her forward. She had to beat him. And she did. The old guy, smug and confident only moments before, was dragged away screaming. Another woman, overwhelmed by the pressure, was eliminated alongside him. Those players were number 6 and 5, they were out and punished. They were congratulated by the frontman and went on to the next phase of the contest. For the second stage, they called the game the Magic Lamp Challenge. This time, an element of chance was introduced, increasing the psychological stress. The guidelines, as specified by the figure in the black mask, indicated that the first woman to free the genie with her partner's assistance and the last man to fail in releasing his partner's genie would be eliminated. Once again, the pairs consisted of male-female couples, 1, 2, 7, 8, and 4, 3. In this round, she found herself teamed up with a man she barely recognized. He introduced himself as someone who always followed her and took her things, a stalker from her college days. His intense stare made her skin crawl. His obsessive actions throughout the game amplified her anxiety. She did her utmost to stay composed and concentrate on the game. Waka noticed that the other woman's genie had appeared first even before hers, which gave her some relief. Because of this result, her partner, the stalker, was also eliminated. The removals of players 3 and 7 highlighted that no one is genuinely safe. They received congratulations once more and proceeded to the next location alongside the other contestants. In the third round, the activity is called balloon shooting. Contestants were tasked with popping their partner's balloon using a needle. The first woman to have her balloon pop would be disqualified. Additionally, the last man who did not successfully pop his partner's balloon would be disqualified as well. The matchups continued to be male-female, with groupings of 2 versus 1 and 4 versus 8. Waka found herself paired with Shinji, her former high school boyfriend, who is an overbearing and cocky individual she had nearly forgotten about. Shinji was delighted to reconnect with his old flame, but Waka was less than thrilled. During this round, a conflict arose between the two female contestants. The committee said that Waka's balloon had burst first, but in a surprising turn of events, Mizuki admitted that her balloon had actually popped first. As a result, Mizuki was eliminated while Waka advanced to the finals, clinging to the hope of winning the impressive 100 million yen reward. Players number 4 and 1 were removed from the competition. The atmosphere was charged, and the game turned out to be merciless, resulting in 2 more eliminations. In the final stage, only players 2 and 8 remained in the competition. They would compete directly against each other to determine who would claim the prize. Waka found herself intrigued by this player. Did she recognize him? He was Aizawa, someone who had shown interest in her during middle school, but she had turned him down. As she readied herself for the concluding round, Waka began to observe something unusual and grew more suspicious. The pattern of her rivals, all men connected to her past, each embodying a painful memory, a slight, a rejection, seemed too coincidental. She realized that the game wasn't random but was carefully designed. It was deliberate, and she was the intended target. During the last set of instructions, the frontman's voice modulator malfunctions, exposing his true voice. He takes off his mask, confirming Waka's greatest fear, it's Haku. He admits to pretending to be ill as a cruel tactic to manipulate Waka and torment her emotionally. He collaborates with everyone in Waka's life to toy with her feelings. Waka is unable to comprehend what has just been revealed. Even her closest companion, Mizuki, is part of Haku's plot and has shared something with her. She entered the competition because Haku promised they would be united once the games concluded. Mizuki had feelings for Haku during their college years, but she chose Waka instead. She also discloses that her balloon was not the first to pop in the previous round. She did it intentionally because that was what Haku wanted, for Waka to reach the final game. Shocked and betrayed, Waka understands the devastating truth: Haku's family is wealthy enough to orchestrate such a disturbing game like this one. She attempted to flee the place but found her way blocked by the men dressed in red. In an even more shocking turn of events, they took off their masks, uncovering another layer of familiar faces from her history: her senpai, her neighbor, and former classmates from university. All of them had been selected by Haku and invited to take part in the game he designed. Complicating her situation further was the arrival of Nakata, Shinji, and the Stalker, who were there to witness her humiliation and despair. As stated by her previous employer, no one could defy Haku's commands. Their laughter rang through the room like a haunting echo. Grinning wickedly, Haku explained that his original plan was to rescue her from the game. But since she had already become aware and awakened, the strategy abruptly shifted. For him, this outcome was preferable because he enjoyed witnessing her suffering at the hands of those who had connections with her, be they positive or negative. Haku and Mizuki ultimately came together, having accomplished their aims, while Waka was left alone in that space. Overwhelmed by feelings of betrayal, heartbreak, and intense rage, Waka swears to seek vengeance. She will ensure that they face the repercussions for their deeds and the years of torment they inflicted upon her. This is not the conclusion but the start of her own game. The end. Honestly, I was quite impressed because the storytelling in this piece was exceptionally crafted. The film was enjoyable to watch, and it definitely deserves a sequel or perhaps even a series. Regarding the storyline, Waka encountered a tragedy that she never thought would occur in her life. She fell profoundly in love with a man who did not reciprocate her feelings but merely toyed with them. She didn't merit this. I hope she can heal from the experience she endured so she can seek revenge in the continuation of this tale. When will it be released? Maybe we can just carry on the story in our imaginations, for now. Thank you very much for watching. And I will see you in my next story.